Hey folks, welcome to Transplant Helper again today. I apologize, I was a little bit predisposed. I've been a little busy today. I did a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And as I said in my previous video, I'm just trying to enjoy my life. I'm so blessed, so thankful, so grateful to be able to have the opportunities that I do. And this is just a part of them. I live in a beautiful, beautiful part of the United States in Alabama, and it's a great area to be in. I can step right outside my back door and do things like you've just seen and so much more. So I'm thankful for that. But I did want to pause today for just a moment or two and answer a couple of questions I saw come up on a Facebook post the other day that I thought were very, very appropriate, especially for this time of year. You know, we're dealing with a whole lot of wildfires out in the western part of the United States, here in the East Coast. It's just about time where the leaves are going to start falling. Of course, us, our neighbor, and everybody's cat and dog are going to be out burning leaves, trying to clean up their yards, that sort of things to get ready for winter. A lot of people are going to be looking forward to, not now, but probably in the next 3, 4, 5 months, especially up north, to start building a fire inside of the house, you know, getting some logs, bringing them in, enjoying the fireplace. We're already down here having cookouts and campouts and, you know, just all kind of stuff, sitting around a campfire, enjoying ourselves. All of that basically comes about to the question that I'm about to answer, and that concerns how do we deal, at least, or how are we able to keep ourselves safe when we're around fire, okay? And whether it be a campfire, a cookout, a wildfire, whatever, things are pretty much the same. Basically speaking, there's no real danger for us as transplant patients as far as being exposed to fire and or smoke. Now, that is given that that's a natural fire or a natural smoke. Now, if you're burning garbage, burning trash, burning something with some kind of chemical in it, that could be an altogether different story. But save the fact that you have some sort of already presupposition that causes you a problem with smoke. Say you're a pulmonary patient, maybe even if you're a lung transplant patient, you especially need to be more cautious. But at the end of the day, basically, you don't have a whole lot of worries. You are in no more danger as a transplant patient than, say, someone who is not, okay? So you don't have to worry as much with fires, with smoke, that sort of thing. But there are a few things you need to be keeping in mind. Number one, when you're building those fires, men, women, makes no difference, but men sometimes get put up to this. When you're building those fires, try not to have too much exposure to the wood itself, especially, you know, wood that's been cut in previous months and been sitting around saying a wood pile. You got to be very careful about handling that wood because there's a lot of mold, a lot of mildews, a lot of things that can be creeping around on that, which are overall not going to be very good for your lungs and could cause some type of infection. Now, secondary to that, once the fire is built and the fire is going, you know, stay out of the direct smoke. That's common sense. Or mask up if you are. Again, there's probably not going to be that much danger, that much chance in you catching something directly from that fire, directly from that smoke. But here's where I do want to caution you just a little bit, okay? This is basically a downward spiral that I've been in several times, and I want to caution you about. And that has to do with the potential out there, and it could be associated with a fire in a backwards way, but the potential out there for getting some sort of a sinus infection or some sort of infection that builds up in your sinuses or in your head, you know, itself, which ultimately we know a good sinus infection is apt at least to drop down your lungs and then end up in pneumonia. Never good, okay? Never good for us as transplant patients. But what I'm really getting at is what actually happens when you have a sinus infection typically is that there's been some kind of a blockage and or obstacle that has kept the sinuses from properly draining. Overall, your body is built for self-maintenance, okay? It is built so that if anything builds up in the sinuses, such as, you know, what we might call mucus or snot, when that gets in there, what's supposed to happen in the sinus cavities is they're supposed to drain. So you'll feel the drainage down your ears. It'll go down the back of your nose, into your throat, and be done with. Or maybe sometimes you do get a little sniffle and your nose starts running again. That is the body naturally taking care of itself via that drainage. But what can happen if there's any type of a little bit of irritation or aggravation that comes in to that sinus or to the area of the sinus cavities, there can ultimately be a stoppage of that. And then when you have that stoppage and you have that sinus, that mucus backing up, bacteria can then form and can then build and really cause you a problem. So here's where smoke exposure, fire exposure comes in. Just like, cutting grass could do this the same during the summer for us, especially in the South, or being exposed to pollens in certain seasons, the springtime or fall, either one. What'll happen is there's a little bit of inflammation in the sinus cavity that forms, and then that in turn becomes the blockage to stop those sinuses. They don't drain properly. You end up getting sick with what we traditionally call a sinus infection, and if you're not careful, very quickly that becomes an overall infection in the body. Again, like I said, dropping down to the lungs, and then you're in trouble. So overall, recapping, you're not in any immediate danger from the smoke, the fire itself, no more than anyone else is. Okay, now we're not talking about sticking our head in the fire and sucking in on purpose. I mean the casual exposure. You're in no more danger than anyone else. You need to be extra cautious if you're a pulmonary patient, and you need to avoid touching that wood that's been laying around and gotten moldy. And then in addition to that, just be careful. If you can avoid an irritant to the sinus or an inflammation there, you're going to be better off. They're going to drain. They're going to naturally take care of themselves, and you are going to be better off. And we need ourselves to be healthy, especially in this area, so that we can then in turn continue to fight in whatever area it was where our transplant was needed. I hope this has helped you out in some way. If it has, I want to encourage you, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. That encourages me and causes me to want to continue to make these videos to help you. And I just really appreciate your stopping to view this today. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel, right now is the perfect time to go ahead and do that. So consider hitting the subscribe button, and be sure to hit that bell notification all beside that, because to be totally honest, YouTube will not really notify you, even if you're a subscriber anymore, unless you hit that bell. And you want those notifications if you want to continue to watch content like this. I hope this has helped you out. And again, until next time, stay stronger, friends.